Welcome to Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center. Something to Talk About is something we talk about Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here, and it's usually at 1:30 in the afternoon. And if you don't catch our program, you can usually find it by going to youtube.com/BI Senior Center. And if you'd like to know about upcoming programs, you can go to biseniorcenter.org/calendar. Fieldstone Communities of Bainbridge Island sponsors these programs. They are offering memory care and constructing assisted and independent living up on Rolling Bay. They also offer day stay and respite programs. To learn more, dial 360-689-4314. And somebody's calling right now. We are going to talk today with Carol Wrights, who is wrangling the Rotary auction this year, not on her own, I recognize, but a lot on your own. And so thank you very much for joining us and telling us about this institution.
Yeah, before I go too far, I'm just kind of curious, the three of you, and I think Wanda's coming in now, how many of you have worked at the auction? Yeah, okay. How many of you have donated to the auction? And how many of you shop the auction? Okay, very good. Well, Sheila, looks like we have to indoctrinate you into this whole thing. Okay. All right, so
I have to tell you, it's really weird because I've lived here for over 20 years and I've never been to the Rotary auction.
oh, you've escaped. I don't know how you've done that.
I don't.
And I mean, although it's a crazy experience, it's also sort of a civic duty, as we'll describe later, I think.
Oh, well, I would say it's more fun than a duty. Yes, that's how I like to put it. Oh, can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure. Let me just authorize you to do that. You have a couple of things you want to put up on the screen.
Yep.
So you are ready to go.
So I'll know I've done my job if Wanda comes and volunteers.
That's right. Or Sheila.
Oh yeah, Sheila. Yeah, Sheila. Okay, so the Rotary auction is something that has been existing. Let's see, since 1960, so almost as old as I am. The first funds were raised at $5,600 and they helped build the Bainbridge Library. So last year was the first year that we did it since our 2-year hiatus because of COVID, and it's been at Woodward Middle School since 1996. And last year we had over 1,300 volunteers. So we have room for one more. Hundreds of people donate and thousands of shoppers find bargains. So I like to think of this as not a rummage sale, but one of the biggest rental agencies on the island. And I like to think of it as that, because people bring their stuff and then people take their stuff and go home. One of the first places that I worked was the music department. And of course, there's a lot of drum sets that come in. And one of the fellow workers said, oh, I remember that from the previous year. So I bet drum sets come home and come back every year because they realize what a mistake it was. So one of the goals, of course, is to make sure that we find homes and we can reuse all the items that we gather at Woodward. So here's some of the key dates to keep in mind. The actual sales day is July 8th. And of course, we need volunteers and shoppers for that date, but there's a whole bunch of work that goes into creating this event. I've got a QR code up there. If you're interested, you can stick your phone up there, take a photo of that, and that'll take you to our website. And that'll give you a lot of information that I won't necessarily cover today. But the key thing for today is knowing that we need volunteers starting from June 30th. June 30th is the first day that the public can start dropping off items from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. So what we need are people who work all the various departments. We have over 36 departments in which items come in to populate. We need people to work on the curb to get things out of the cars. We need people to greet people. And of course, we have something for everybody. So if you're the kind of person that says, oh, I can't do heavy lifting, we can do things like have you work in our cafeteria, because we serve lunch and dinner to all volunteers during the time that we're there. So we need people who can help serve food, which is a short shift and something that doesn't require a lot of heavy lifting. So, and it's what could be better than making people happy by serving them food. So we start on June 30th. Go through July 1st, 2nd. We close early on the 3rd because we know the 4th of July and the evening of the July 3rd are big events right here for the city. So we're closing down early on the 3rd. We close campus totally on the July 4th, so you can attend the parade and all the events that are happening on July 4th. Then we come back for one more drop-off day where people can donate on the 5th. And then we still need volunteers on the Thursday and Friday, the 6th and 7th, to price things, clean things up. So as you know, we don't just take items that people give us. We try to clean them up. We try to fix them. We try to figure out if we can make things work. We have to price them and then set them up to get ready for preview night. Preview night is July 7th, which is Friday night, right before the sale. So that's where the public can come in from 5 to 8 p.m. and start your planning, your shopping strategy. Come and see what's for sale, check out the departments, and figure out what kind of bargains that you want to start shopping in on the next day. And then of course, sales day is July 8th, which starts 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's just amazing the kinds of people that come and able to get great bargains, everything from cars to boats to buttons. It's a community tradition. Done it, obviously done it since the 1960s. It's fun and it's amazing. The first auction that I did, people came up to me and said, I've been volunteering for 30 years. And people don't do something like that unless it feels fun and it's something that they feel is a good use of their time. There's a lot of camaraderie. People come year after year, and it's a great way to feel good and do something meaningful. So why volunteer? To do good and feel great. So this QR code right here is you can stick your phone up there and access, there's a whole volunteer page on our website. So what we suggest is that if you think at all that you want to volunteer, go to that volunteer page on our website using that QR code or accessing our website. Well, we ask you to register ahead of time. By registering ahead of time, we can make sure that you get your official name tag. And we also ask that you fill out a hold harmless form, which you can download from that same web page. Sign it and bring it in. And that way, when you check in on the first day that you show up to volunteer to the volunteer desk, you're all set, you're all ready to go. And you don't have to know what department you want to work in. You can ask to see what's available. You can pick whatever department, you can pick whatever times. It's very flexible. You can work in several departments. Sometimes there's more work to be done in one department, or you decide, oh, that department's not for me. I want to try something else. So it's very flexible and very fluid. And because you're volunteering, we'll take and honor whatever we can do in terms of what you want and what you'd like to do. So as I mentioned, there's 36 departments, everything from boats to jewelry. So whatever interest you could possibly have, let's say you just want to try out bicycles. You don't know anything about bicycles. It could be as simple as taking a hose and cleaning off bicycles that come in, or pumping up tires, or helping look things up and researching what bicycles are going for, to yarn, to children's boutique. So it depends. Do you like to work inside? Do you like to work outside? Do you like to work in a tiny room? Do you like to sit? Do you like to be active? So there's something for everybody. And again, you can scan to get to the volunteer page for any skill, knowledge, or ability. We ask that you try to register by June 29th so that we can have that name tag for you, bring in the signed hold harmless form, and then check in at the volunteer desk, which is in the Commons at Woodward. So the question becomes, where do I park? And that's always the biggest challenge, especially pre-sales during that setup week. There's parking all along Sportsman. You might try to carpool with some friends that are coming together. The parking lot at Sakai is available for the most part. We have one restriction on Saturday, but we'll let you know. Let's see, I guess, yeah, that's probably, there's very little parking on campus except for some of the department managers, just because we use that entire campus at Woodward for all of our departments.
But you could ride your bike.
Ride your bike, yes, that's a good point. And we have a bicycle rack set up. Make sure you bring a lock, because otherwise your bike might be in danger of getting sold. So make sure you lock up your bike. Yes, biking, walking, getting dropped off, it's probably a good thing. And then, as I mentioned, we serve complimentary lunch and dinner during the times that we're available, because there's very limited places for people to go eat. So we try to take care of you while you're there. Besides the departments that I mentioned, there's other special ways to volunteer. As I mentioned, we serve lunch and dinner, so we need to be able to have people who are sitting there in the cafeteria line, plopping food on a plate for the volunteers, monitoring the salad bar. We have a huge green team. We have a green team that's very interested in making sure that we reduce the amount of things that end up in the landfill. So they need help sorting all the recyclables, the metal, the cardboard, the paper, food composting. So we have, if you're passionate about that, there's all sorts of things that you can do. It requires a huge army in that area in particular. And again, if you check out our website, we have all the departments listed, and some of the departments have specific online signups in which you could go and sign up for specific shifts and specific departments. Not everybody does, but. And also we make use of the volunteers that exist at the city, and through the communications, through traffic control, through all those volunteers that you see, like, for example, that we saw at the vaccine clinic. So you can volunteer through that. If you have any medical knowledge or medical skill, we can use that, especially on sales day, where we have emergency set up for anything that might come up. Usually heat exhaustion. People get really tired and hot shopping. Okay, let's say you want to donate, and you've got a house full of items, or you have some heavy items that you are trying to figure out how you're going to get to our site on our drop-off days. We have what we call island pickup, and there's a QR code to access the online sign up. We make use and we contract with Donate Kitsap. Donate Kitsap is a company that's here on Bainbridge, and it's run by a young man, very nice young man, who started his own business. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they have delivery and they have consignment services housed out of Copper Top, but we hire them to do our pickup. So we have 3 days in which you could sign up online to arrange, and you pay for it. For June 30th, July 1st, and July 2nd. They have time between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. So this is a great service to let people know about if people are wondering how they're going to get that huge bureau or that bed or whatever it is they're trying to get to the auction. So that's an option. So the other thing we like to let people know is what happens to all the money. So last year we grossed over $700,000, which is amazing. But of course, we realized it was probably 3 years of pent up donations that people were hanging on to, didn't know what else to do with. So it'll be interesting to see how that differs to this year. But we give our money away for the rest of the year. So that's the fun part, is once we gather all that money through our auction, we spend the rest of our Rotary year giving that money away. And it comes in 3 major buckets: community grants for local small grants. We have large projects for more capital kinds of things. I'm sure the senior center has been a benefit to some of that money, as well as many other organizations around the island. Last year, we donated money to help the Filipino Hall get a new roof. So, so there's a lot of local and regional money that goes back into the community, as well as international. We have many international projects that we support year after year, such as boreholes in Uganda, medical clinics. So we try to impact not only locally, but around the world. I think the most interesting thing about working internationally is that we always work through a local Rotary Club. So we're not going in there and going, here, let's help you. We work with people who know the who know the culture, who know the people in their local community, and we always work through a local Rotary Club. Okay, so the other important thing is to know what kinds of things we don't take. So, and it hasn't changed much year after year, but we don't take pianos and, those great big organs for obvious reasons. They're just way too heavy. And a lot of times they come in and then they leave. Nobody really buys those, but we do take, the small electric pianos and speakers. The other thing we try not to take are the whole things that create safety issues, like child car seats. We'll take the booster seats, but not the child seats, because we can't tell whether it's been in an accident or not. We have also added safety helmets, the ones that you use for bicycling as well as skiing. We decided it falls in the same category as car seats, so we won't be taking those. But other than that, well, we're also trying not to take, the really badly stained, sofa that had the cat living on it for years, because we know it's not going to sell. And so there are items on our website that we say, we'll take it, but knowing that you have to pay a fee in case we have to trash it. So at the end of the auction, the concern is, well, what happens to all the leftover stuff? So whatever doesn't sell by 2 o'clock on sales day, we have a harvester program. So we register nonprofits as well as profit businesses that want to come in. They register with us and they let us know what they're interested in. So at 2 o'clock, they're allowed to come in and they can take whatever they want for free. So we offer a lot of that stuff that we don't sell. So they're the first ones that come in. We also are working with ARC. ARC is a major donation point down in Bremerton. It used to stand for Association for Retarded Citizens, but they just want to be known as ARC now. But they will take just about anything that'll fit in a 45-inch box. So they'll take clothes, books, jewelry, CDs. So they'll take a lot of the little things, holiday decorations. And so we're going to load up 4 of those truckloads, as well as we've hired Donate Kitsap to increase the capacity at those things that we can fill up and take down to Bremerton for that organization. So that'll help really reduce the amount of what's left over that we have to end up paying for. So whatever's left that no one's taken or purchased, we have to pay for trashing of all of that. And of course, that just kills us to have to put all that in the landfill.
Yeah, I do know that you've had worked very closely in the past several years with Zero Waste Bainbridge.
Right.
To try to reduce, I mean,
Yeah.
it was on your first slide or the second one about reducing and reusing. It's the whole concept, but they help try to look for directing things too, right?
Right. Yeah. So we've got a lot of organizations we work with, and some of the less known thing that takes place, and it's kind of a whole separate thing that we do, we call gleaners. So our goal is from 2 p.m. to about 8:30 is we have to clean up the site. We have to protect a lot of our Rotary supplies. We have 3 semis full of supplies that get used during the whole auction. And then we have to put all that away. We have to allow all these harvesters to come in to take all the sale stuff that we can't sell. But then from 9 PM to 9 AM the next day, we keep the lights on, we keep the gates open, and we have a few Rotarians and other volunteers that stay there overnight because there's groups of people that will come in, and they'll come in from all over, and they're welcome to take whatever the harvesters and ARC doesn't take. And it sounds like it's been kind of this tradition, and it sounds like it's a whole separate community of people that come in, and so whatever is left at 9 AM on Sunday, the next day, is what we have to sadly put in the crusher trucks and haul away and get put in the landfill.
Well, there's another little part of the auction that goes by the acronym LOO, L-O-O.
Oh, yes, yes. And it's, if you're British, it doesn't stand for what you think. It's called Lawn of Opportunity. So there's a whole lawn area that is full of things that people don't think people will buy. You know, things like half-burned candles, broken pieces, broken dishes, vases, you name it, that we collect all that stuff in the loo. And what happens is that we know that there are harvesters that like to use things like IVC needs vases. So we save all those vases and they're allowed to come in, and we give all the vases to IVC. So it's a great source of vases for them. There are artists who come in and like broken pottery. So they'll come in and take that. And we also have like other organizations that like DVDs, like the military. You know, you think about somebody on a submarine, you know, they can't be downloading music or movies. They would probably take a lot of the DVDs because they need the physical DVD. So the loo is a place where, or heck, we were trying to find the top for something that we're working on in small appliances. That's a good place to go look for something. Yeah, you just never know what you're going to find in there. But that's another way of trying to keep things out of the landfill. So we really try not to throw anything in the trash unless it actually is like food, garbage, you know, that kind of stuff.
And you can be a good citizen by not donating something that really.
Yeah, that's helpful too. Yeah. You know, but sometimes what happens is people just take boxes out of the garage and just load it on a truck and take it, and you never know what you're going to find. Sometimes they're alive. Sometimes we find live things. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, and that's a little scary, but you know, sometimes, yeah, we've unrolled carpets and found little critters running out.
Okay, well, I'm volunteering for that job for sure.
Yeah.
So it sounds like if you are if you're interested in well, obviously if you're interested in supporting the program by volunteering, check out one of those earlier codes, or you can just go onto the auction and rummage sale website.
Yes, the website has everything that I just went through. So yeah, it's a great, let's see. Oh, do I know the website address?
And well, and if you,
well, it was there.
yeah, and if you are, what was I going to say? Oh, if you're a nonprofit, or you said, or a for-profit who might want to register to help with the cleanup,
Harvest, yes.
harvesting, is that also on the website?
I believe so, but or you can just email me. I'll put my email here.
Okay, the actual website is Bainbridge Rotary Auction, one word, .org. Bainbridge Rotary Auction.
Yeah, so I put that in the chat.
Okay.
Or if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer too. Carol.
Yes, and there's also if there's an email address, RotaryAuction@BainbridgeIslandRotary.org.
Yep. So I would just go right to our website, and that'll probably answer a lot of questions and give you specific information. And then there's all the departments that are listed. And as I mentioned, each department has an online sign up if they have one, so you can access it there if you're interested in checking out a specific department.
Great. Any other questions? Okay, well, I really appreciate you taking the time to walk through this, and here's to a very successful 2023 auction, Carol.
Oh my gosh, yes. Let's just hope it's not 90 degrees.
Yes, yeah, it's just like the 4th of July. You want it to be in the sweet spot like we're enjoying today.
Right, right. Well, thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.